Hi everyone, welcome to BrickVault. This is Mike and welcome to another Top 10 MOCs Sunday video where we show off our favorite MOCs from the passing week. And also at the end of the episode we are showing the fan creations that you guys are sending to our BrickVault Fan MOCs email. If you wanna send more for next week's showcase, remember the links and the rules are below, and we always appreciate receiving some really awesome stuff from you. Also, before we jump into this week's selection, I want you guys to check out our web store at www.brickvault.toys, where we have just added a collection of MOCs for Battlestar Galactica designed by David Duperron. The showcase videos for these MOCs are coming soon, but you can purchase them now if you want. You can purchase them separately, or we have a bundle of all three builds. Those are all in somewhat of a UCS scale: the Viper, the Raptor and the Raider. Check those out, those are pretty cool, and also remember that every purchase you guys make at our web store supports our channel here at BrickVault, keeps us going, and also supports the designers like David that work with us. Alright, going into the MOCs selection for this week, this first one here is called the Mechanical Tripod by Sadovich. And even though it looks like a simple MOC, do not get fooled. If you look in the inside of that mechanical creature, you can see some very fancy building inside that clockwork mechanism. It looks quite otherworldly, if you know what I mean, more like a 50s era space exploration type of thing, but also has those War of the Worlds vibes to it, maybe because it's a tripod and those machines were quite associated with that theme. I like the use of different cogs in grey and gold in this somewhat of a transparent casing, and there's some weird character to this MOC that I simply just like. And Sadovich is quite into such bizarre builds. I highly recommend you guys to check out his Flickr page. He has a bunch of MOCs of this weird atmosphere, if I may, and I believe we featured a number of them in the past. The links to every creation I talk about in every episode can be found in the description below. This next one here comes from Auk Bricks. This is Friends Monica's Kitchen, a design coming from a very popular TV show, and honestly I gotta say I don't think I've seen a more detailed Lego build kitchen like ever before. The scale is quite significant, and that allows the builder to create every single possible detail you can see in a very packed kitchen. The link below will lead you to a high resolution picture of that build, and I don't really want to talk about every single detail visible here. I just want you guys to discover yourselves, because I had quite a lot of fun just peeking into the build and finding all the small details and kitchen elements, utensils and whatnot just hiding in different places. And honestly, I did not watch the show as much, but I do remember that the kitchen of one of the main characters was quite colorful, quite packed, and I think that this MOC gives it a lot of justice. Quite amazing what you can build with the versatility of parts that LEGO provides right now as of 2019, as I can definitely spot different parts from, let's say, Ninjago and also I think Friends, because that theme provided a lot of awesome molds for kitchen utensils and whatnot. Again, the link is below, and this is definitely quite a fun build to be featured in this week's list. This next MOC is coming from Marius Herrmann, one of my favorite designers as of now, and this one is coming from God of War. This is his depiction of Alfheim. Now, this is quite a special MOC for me because God of War for PlayStation 4, the new game, is the first game ever I did a platinum trophy on, means I completed every single achievement of that game, and the game is simply astonishing with all the realms you can visit. It is just a masterpiece of a game, and I think Marius captured the world of Alfheim, the world of light elves, in quite a stunning fashion in LEGO. I like that the build for the head statue that is lying by the water, and the iconic pink trees that you pass by while riding the boat with your son in God of War are looking basically the same as in the game. The MOC is not big, yet he was able to capture quite a significant atmosphere of that location. It is one of the more visually stunning moments of the game when you pass through the Alfheim riverways, and he also managed to include some details like the foliage on the ground and Sindri's workshop, which is a location you visit quite often in the game. I also like the use of custom minifigures of Kratos and Atreus, and that Sindri's workshop tent is built quite well as well. I recommend you guys to check out Marius's Flickr page for some really awesome builds, and also recommend you to check out the game if you haven't already. I think it actually won the Game of the Year award for 2018. The next build is coming from the builder Carter, and the Alien Queen was depicted in LEGO quite a few times already, but this one really stuck in my mind as being one of the more accurate ones. The shape of the big nasty xenomorph in some somewhat of a space base location is actually a very good vignette, and I think that she made it so that she's standing on her own, which with that shape of a body is quite an achievement. The alien mother body is quite difficult to capture, so he used a bunch of different techniques and pieces for that, but I think the effect, especially for the legs, the tail and also the head, really paid off. I also like the scale that she is built in. I've seen some bigger ones and even some smaller ones, but I think that this somewhat of a midi scale actually suits the character, the creature, perfectly. He also built the smaller xenomorphs, I think that do actually scale with the big queen, and overall I find that as one of the best alien queen depictions that I've seen in LEGO so far. Going up the list, we have Timofey with his awesome yellow crested Sockatoo build. Now I find people building animals in LEGO to be quite talented, because to get some shapes right it's quite difficult actually in LEGO, and I think with this build, especially for the shape of the head, Timofey succeeded tremendously. There is the close-up shot of the head, and you can see that, for example, for the beak he used the anchor piece in LEGO. I also like those minifigure color pieces for the eyes and bananas in the back for that specific feature of the bird. I think he also captured the proportions of the body of the bird quite well. She has quite long wings and this noble posture when she sits on the branch. That is one of those builds when you look from afar it actually looks like a molded bird, if I may. And Timofey also shows off his talent on his Flickr page. He made a number of different types of builds. You can even purchase one of his builds in our web store, namely the Orca. Alright, next one up is coming from a very talented and known builder to us. This is Int Hurt and his LL109 exploration craft. Now Int Hurt is known for Star Wars builds, but he is switching around from time to time to some really awesome different builds, and now he's coming back from something that would fit into the classic space, maybe the neo-classic space, if I may. Now first of all, I like the build for that cockpit with the engines in the front. This is such a nice build with excellent use of pieces. The gribbling on the wings leading towards the guns is also quite a nice touch, and I especially like that half dome build in the back, showing some sort of a power coil possibly powering the entire craft. Great gribbling for the engines as well in the back, and overall I think it's a very balanced build for a spaceship and looks quite realistic if we ever got into the moment where we were actually able to build single pilot spaceships that would actually go into space. Overall, some very cool design choices and great photography as it goes with Int Hurt usually, and many of you may already know that you can also find some of his designs in our web store. Here is another micro build for this week, coming from Paddy B, and this is a micro Edoras. I am a big fan of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies, and Edoras, filmed on a location of the Sunday Mountain in New Zealand, was one of the most breathtaking locations that was shown in the films. This micro-scale depiction is quite well captured with the hill and the surrounding city of Edoras, and I actually like the main point of the build, which is the Theoden hull at the very top. Some great micro building here, all the small details are captured as seen in the movies, and I also like the fact that he used the brown minifigure hands to depict, I believe, horses just scurrying around the town. And well, horses are quite a big part of the nation of the Riders of Rohan. Very cool, and I also recommend you guys to check out his different micro builds that he has posted to his Flickr page so far. Here is a cool one as we are getting closer to the end of the list. This one is coming from Paddy Bricksplitter and the title is Don't Pick the Flowers. There is a quite funny and a bit menacing scene of an alien world and a pink-suited astronaut just casually picking flowers with a pair of scissors and a basket, and maybe she should look to the back when there is this massive alien-like creature just, well, stalking her, and you can just imagine what might happen in a second. I like the build for the petals using what I called the balloon pieces, and the creature seems to have this dynamic pose as if it is just about to leap towards its prey. One lesson to learn from that scene, just do not pick the flowers when visiting alien worlds. Simple as that. And I also believe that this entire build might have been inspired by the jungle planet from the LEGO Movie 2. Who knows, I think the colors are from the sets. Okay, almost done with the list. This one is coming from grubaluk and we have the automatic meerkats. Now these cute creatures are known for standing in this pose, just looking for threats constantly, and there wouldn't be much of a special thing to this build if it wasn't for the feature that the builder introduced. This massive box that the meerkats are standing on is hiding quite a sophisticated mechanism for them to move independently. I mean, just the heads move, but that's how I remember the meerkats. I mean, I just seen them in the zoo, but that is how they move their heads while looking for threats. He made it that the cute guys are moving their heads independently in different intervals, so that the movement is completely random and there doesn't seem to be a pattern. Which is pretty awesome, and I can see that the build being quite an eye-catcher on any LEGO convention. Grubaluk doesn't post quite often, but given the complexity of the builds, each one of them is quite awesome, so I recommend you guys to check out his older builds. And for the last mock in this week's list, I'm going back to somewhat of a classic space. This one is coming from Jacob Sadovich, that is the same builder that designed successfully the Ideas ship in a bottle set. And this one doesn't have a name, but I should call it the ultimate spaceship from Benny the Spaceman. This thing is packed to the brim with weaponry and is a really military version of anything classic space. He used a bunch of custom stickers to make it look like the military build it is, and I quite enjoy them, especially the one right below the canopy showing the name for Captain Benny Spaceman, just like you have the names and nicknames for the pilots of, let's say, F-18 Hornets. The big engines are coming from the Exoforce set, so that it is an actual LEGO piece before you ask. And the whole thing doesn't seem like it would real fly if designed in the real world, but hey, it's a classic space, it's supposed to look ridiculous. Love the crazy weaponry, some 6-barrel laser guns on the sides of the build. I think he used those big Technic figures for this to fit, so it scales a bit differently than to the minifigure scale. There is also a whole bunch of stickers in the back, really cool details here with those danger, do not step markings, and I like that ball turret in the back depicting the ones from the World War II era bombers. Plus that targeting system is just a nice touch. Very cool, unique, somewhat over the top build for a classic space take on, and I gotta say that is one of the favorite ones I've seen in that sub-theme so far in a matter of months. And that was the last mock to showcase in this week's list. Remember that this list is not entirely a ranking, that is a subjective opinion. Some of you guys may disagree with me, you may like number 10 more than number 1, but I really hope you enjoyed this week's selection. And now it's time to show off your fan creations that you guys have sent to our BrickVault Fan MOCs email. Again, if you want to submit more submissions for next week, the rules and the links are right below in the description. And without too much more talking, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, click the bell button for notifications over the new videos of ours, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. It was Mike, and I'll see you next time on BrickVault.